Welcome back, seekers of the strange, to the midnight fire. Tonight, we gather around the digital campfire to whisper about something truly unsettling: the clock that ticks backwards. No, this isn't just a quirky antique shop find. We're talking about a ritual, a legend whispered in hushed tones, promising the power to turn back time, if only for a moment. But like all shortcuts that defy the natural order, this one comes with a heavy price and a shadow that follows you long after the ticking stops. The story originates from a place steeped in sorrow, an old, dilapidated mansion on the outskirts of a forgotten town. Locals call it the Blackwood Estate. It's said that a master clockmaker, Elias Thorne, once lived there. Consumed by grief after losing his daughter to a sudden illness, he became obsessed with the one thing he couldn't control: time itself. He believed that if he could craft a clock that ran in reverse, he could pull back a sliver of the past, just to see his daughter smile one last time. For years, Elias toiled in his workshop, surrounded by gears, pendulums, and esoteric texts. He wasn't just building a machine. He was weaving a ritual into its very core. The clock's face was carved from the wood of a lightning-struck oak, its hands forged from silver melted down under a full moon, and its internal mechanisms were said to be calibrated not to the sun, but to the rhythm of a human heartbeat, a heart full of regret. The legend says that on the anniversary of his daughter's passing, Elias completed his masterpiece. At the stroke of midnight, he performed the final ritual. He spoke a series of incantations, words that were supposedly ancient and forbidden, and wound the clock counterclockwise. The room grew cold, the air thick with an unseen pressure. The clock began to tick, but the sound was wrong. It was a heavy, mournful thud that seemed to echo not forward, but backward into the silence. What happened next is the core of the chilling tale. Some versions say that for a fleeting moment, the spectral image of his daughter appeared in the room, smiling, before vanishing like smoke. But the joy was short-lived. The clock, now a conduit to something unnatural, didn't just turn back time. It ripped a hole in the fabric of reality. The laws of physics in the mansion began to warp. Shadows moved on their own. Whispers echoed from empty hallways, and the faint, heart-breaking sound of a child's laughter could be heard at the witching hour. Elias Thorne was never seen again. Some say he was pulled into the past he so desperately wanted to reclaim. Others believe he was consumed by the entity he had inadvertently invited into his home. All that was left was the mansion and the clock, still ticking backward in the master's study, a silent monument to a father's love and a fool's ambition. Over the decades, the Blackwood Estate became a magnet for paranormal investigators, thrill seekers, and those desperate enough to try the ritual for themselves. The instructions, pieced together from local lore and supposed copies of Elias's journal, are deceptively simple, yet profoundly dangerous. First, you must find a place where time feels thin, a location steeped in strong emotion, like an old hospital, a battlefield, or a home marked by tragedy. The Blackwood Estate is, of course, the prime location. You need an analog clock, preferably an old one with a history of its own. At precisely 11:59 p.m., you are to place a personal object on top of it, something tied to the moment you wish to revisit. A photograph, a letter, a piece of jewelry. Then you must speak the name of the person or the event you wish to see again, repeating it like a mantra. As the clock strikes midnight, you wind it backward. Not one full rotation, but 13 clicks. one for each lunar cycle of the year, and a final unlucky 13th for the price you must pay. If the ritual is successful, the world around you is said to shift. The temperature will plummet. You might smell something from your memory, a specific perfume, the scent of rain on a summer day, and for a few precious seconds, you might get a glimpse of what you lost. A ghostly apparition, a sound, a feeling of presence. It's a temporal echo, a ghost of a moment replaying itself. But here's the warning, the part everyone seems to forget in their desperation. You are not simply watching a replay. You are opening a door, and you never know what else is waiting on the other side, drawn to the tear and time you've just created. Many who have attempted the ritual report terrifying consequences. They don't just see the person they miss. They see other things. Distorted figures in the periphery of their vision, faces in mirrors that aren't their own. The most common report is the feeling of being watched, a constant, oppressive sensation that follows them long after they've left the haunted place. They bring a piece of the darkness back with them. One well-documented account comes from a group of urban explorers at the late 90s. They broke into the Blackwood Estate, found the infamous clock still in the study, and decided to try the ritual. They wanted to reconnect with a friend they had lost in a car accident a year prior. Following the legend, they placed his photo on the clock, and at midnight, turned the key 13 times. They claimed that for about 10 seconds the room changed. It looked as it must have 100 years ago, pristine and new. They heard the distinct sound of their friend's laugh, clear as day, coming from the corner of the room. They were ecstatic. They thought it had worked. But then the illusion shattered. The room was once again decayed and derelict, but the air was now filled with a low guttural growl. They fled in terror, but the experience wasn't over. For months afterward, all three of them reported the same recurring nightmare. A tall, shadowy figure with no face, standing at the foot of their bed, with the faint sound of a clock ticking backward. So what is the science, or rather the pseudoscience, behind this? Some paranormal theorists suggest it's a form of psychokinesis, where intense grief and desire focused through the ritual can momentarily disrupt the flow of time on a quantum level. It creates a localized temporal anomaly, a time slip. Others believe the ritual is less about time travel and more about invocation. The clock and the incantations don't manipulate time. They act as a beacon, calling out to spirits, or more ominously, to interdimensional entities that feed on strong emotions like regret and sorrow. These entities can project illusions, showing you what you want to see, luring you into a false sense of comfort before latching on. The clock isn't turning back time. It's opening a line to a very, very old and hungry operator. The legend of the clock that ticks backwards serves as a powerful cautionary tale. It speaks to the universal human desire to undo our mistakes, to have one more moment with those we've lost. But it warns that the past is a place we can visit only in memory. Trying to physically break through its barriers using forbidden methods invites forces we cannot comprehend or control. The Blackwood Estate stands empty to this day, a place the locals avoid after dark. Sometimes they say if you stand at the edge of the property on a quiet night, you can still hear it. A faint, steady, unnatural rhythm. Tick-tock, tick-tock, moving not towards the future, but forever falling back into a haunted, sorrowful past. It's a reminder that some doors are best left unopened, and some clocks are best left to tick forward. Thanks for joining us in the shadows here at the Midnight Fire. What do you think? Is it a desperate attempt to bend reality or a summons for something far more sinister? Let us know your theories in the comments below. Stay curious, stay cautious, and don't forget to subscribe for more journeys into the unknown. Until next time.